This is the Reentry Network podcast. You know we got Real Talk with Blanco, Dojo Sessions hosted by Sensei Kai. It's the Moving Forward podcast hosted by Moving. The Hall of Fame podcast hosted by the Blueface Boys. That's T3 and KT. You know we speaking clearly with Josh. And Cape No Cap hosted by Capers. All these and more streaming now on the Reentry Network podcast. Proud partner of Underground Magazine.
What's good, y'all? Andrew Mason with the Underground Magazine here at the Underground Studios with a special guest. Welcome, Eastside K-Boy. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. It's very good to get to know you more in these last few weeks, especially as you've been teamed up with Reentry, PV. We'll dive into everything, but when's the first time that you actually stepped foot in the Underground Studio compound?
I don't know if it was last year or the year before last year.
Was it with Off Air?
I think it was with Off Air, if I'm not mistaken. It probably was with Off Air or just an event.
Easy.
Yeah.
Like, which set of yours do you remember, or of ours in here, do you remember using first? Like, did you come in here and use like the room with Off Air that he had in here, or was there?
No,
like...
I actually did a visualizer here, with the pink background.
Oh, really? You used a pink set?
Yeah.
That's a good one, right? I feel like it doesn't get enough attention.
No, it was fly. It offsetted my, I had like some brown and pink shit cracking, so it offsetted my whole outfit, so it was fly.
That's perfect. That's perfect. The fit that you brought here today we did our magazine cover shoot, we did photos, everything. Why'd you decide, I know there's a little bit of a story behind the fit that you brought as well as everybody else here today.
Shockaware. You know, they're my guys. I'm teamed up with them. I do artist relations with them, and it just made sense. You know, I'm sponsored by them too. It just made sense at the end of the day. So that's why I chose Shaka. You know, it's a streetwear brand. We are the streets. So why not use Shockaware?
How and when did you first get tapped in with Shaka?
It's been a few years now for me, like dealing with them on the business side. But I've been knowing Shaka for a long time. When I was with Blue Division with G Malone, when I started my rap career, G Malone and Bone Thugs and Harmony was the only two artists that had deals with Shockaware. And I always wanted my face on the poster. You know, G Malone, Bone Thugs, they had them everywhere. Shaka used to get billboards, posters. They was on the buses and everything. So 10 years later, I dealt with them. I went just for a sponsorship. They gave me 12 billboards across the east side. I put my little homie from my neighborhood on there, my SA homie. And then I used one of they real close friends, my Japanese partner. And I told them we gotta show the culture. I was like, you can't just be black people. So it was like black, Hispanic, and they're Asian. So it was me, my Hispanic homie, and then Asian Hide from Japan.
Was that like kind of different for Shaka at the time when you came in to have kind of like a campaign that's more diverse?
I think when I brought up the idea, they loved it because, they was just usually just doing, just one-sided things. If it was a black artist, it was a black artist. If it was Hispanic. But I told them, no, we got to show the culture for real. Because you guys are the Asian people that's delivering the T-shirts, and Hispanics and the blacks, we are the culture. We buy it the most. And realistically, the Hispanics buy it the most. So it was only right that we did that. And from then, they seen my character, that it wasn't just about me.
How did you become somebody that facilitated like moves like this? Like, you seem to be somebody that's a big like dot connector in the city, whether it's in music or in fashion or in the nightlife scene, whatever it is. When did those like early roots kind of develop?
Man, it's just really just building relationships. Always been a people person. Always been educated as well. Like, I graduated with 3.0. So I always believed in educating yourself. Like, we from the streets and everything, but I always told people, like, don't nobody like a dumb nigga. So I didn't want to be a part of that statistic because they already think bad about us anyway and negative. So I always just wanted to change the narrative. I just think because I'm a people person, I'm easy to talk to. I can talk to people and I can blend in. So when I started developing my relationships and people see the way I can articulate myself, I started dealing with white people, Jews, Asians, and they felt comfortable. At first they was nervous because I am from the streets, of course, but when they got to know me, it was ease. So I just started building my own relationships. I was telling you earlier, I learned bringing things to the table. That's how you last longer. You know, show people that you're an asset and not a liability. So every time I call somebody's phone, they usually answer because they like K-Boy calling with a play. So they pick up immediately.
They know it's something real.
And if they don't pick up, they call right back. But I learned that though, and you know, it's through time and maturity. I done just had this great poise though in the beginning. Like my brother Nip said, we just didn't have it. We had to learn it. Then I learned one of my close friends, Lawrence, for 1,500 or nothing. Like he had told me a story that he bought Jay-Z a watch for his birthday one day. And Jay-Z don't need anything, but he did it. And Jay-Z will never forget that because like, damn, all these people around me been around me for years and nobody got me anything for my birthday. I'm always doing the most for everybody else. So I took that into consideration. Was like, yeah, you gotta bring something to the table. I mean, everybody needs something, you know what I mean? So you gotta show them that, okay, we can utilize each other. But before I ask you for anything, I'm gonna show you what I can bring to the table. So I always bring things to the table first.
That's an important lesson to know, right? In any aspect, music, any industry.
Just life.
For real. Now you mentioned like that you thought maybe some of these other people were like, it was a learning curve at first, getting used to you, maybe in the Shaka world or wherever, because you say you're from the street, maybe they weren't used to being around people like that. What about, was there a learning curve for you to kind of step into that more corporate professional world? Like how has that been for you?
As of recently, I tried Mr. Mushies, and I'm gonna honestly say, me coming from someone who deals with mental block on the creativity side, because I'm always creating, definitely I would say like this brought me back in the game with definitely like shrooms and everything like that, just because it definitely made me, it gave me that euphoric feeling, you know? Like I felt at peace. That's what I felt. If one word to describe Mr. Mushies and everything, it would be like a euphoric feeling to describe inner peace. That's what I would say. That's what I felt.
Yeah, it's a learning curve because you gotta just know when to sit back and receive the information and just learn, and then you need to know when to speak because it's a time for everything. So just dealing with Shaka, I learned a lot about the t-shirt industry. I learned a lot about business. I learned about how to carry yourself in certain situations. Even though it is a street brand, you still gotta conduct yourself a certain way. Yeah, I learned a lot of things. Not just dealing with Shaka, just the industry, period. Like, yeah, it is a cutthroat industry, don't get me wrong, for sure. I feel like it's worse in the streets because don't nobody really care about you in this industry. Nobody. It's just how much money we can make off you. And you gotta know that, though, stepping into this. You gotta know, like, okay, I'm gonna be used, but how can I use them? I love using the phrase, if you can't be used, then you're useless. So just knowing how to just speak when you're supposed to. You know, you don't have to talk all the time. Sometimes it's just good to be a fly on the wall and soak up all the game. So I learned a lot. Just not being with Shaka, just being in the corporate world, period.
That's good. That's important. You know, that's very important. I want to talk about the people that you brought here today with you. I feel like every time I've met you, you've been with like a group of 15, 20 people. You know, you're somebody I think is very social, very respected within your community. Why do you think that is? How have you been able to foster this good camp of people around you?
You gotta just be yourself. That's it. And know how to lead. If you lead the right way, they'll follow. But you gotta be a good follower to be a leader too. So you gotta just do everything right in the right perspective of everything. And I feel like I mastered that. I still learn things every day though, but yeah, I know that I pat myself on the back with that. I know how to lead in the right way. I'm not gonna lead them down to a path of destruction. I mean, I've been down that road before, and the ones before me didn't understand it, they didn't teach us that. So, like I said, it's a learning curve, it's maturity. Once you know right, then you know what you need to do. So, back to the question, I brought my, I don't even like to use the word little homie, I brought my young homies from my neighborhood. We all from the same section, we all from the same gang, different streets. If they don't know, 4 Deuce, 4 Trey, 4-8. It's the gang off the east side, the low bottom east side. We all one. We call it the 4-pack. So I brought my homies because they actually do music as well, and that's how I'm presenting them to the world as a 4-pack. And you know, welcome to 4-Pakistan. You know what I mean?
Do you feel a responsibility to put on for other people that come out of your community and share the spotlight with them in a sense?
Yeah, because I'm not the only one that do this. And if one of them blow up, like it's the Kendrick effect. That's what I call it, right? He was the hype man. of J-Rock. You know, no J-Rock, no TDE. Just to make things clear, no J-Rock, no TDE. But Kendrick sat back, did what he was supposed to do, kept grinding, watched everybody, and look at him, he the biggest in the world, but he was the hype man. That's the key root of the story, that he was the hype man. He played his position. You gotta play your position. Me and my homie was talking about that earlier on the phone. You just gotta play your position. But yeah, I feel like nobody owes anything to anyone. So let's get that clear. But I feel like I owe it to myself and my section to help. At the end of the day, if you can help, you're in a position to help, you should help. If you can't, then they just gotta do it. But you know, me and my homie was watching something where you can't wait on me neither. You gotta go out and go get it yourself. And you can't help nobody that don't wanna help themselves. So I feel like this is the right time. I'm kind of buzzing right now, so I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to bring them along.
It definitely is. Like you said, buzzing right now. We'll get into some more of that. But something you said that interested me there is, like, in terms of good leaders also need to be good followers in a sense too.
Yeah.
Is there people now or people in your past that you look to that you would proudly call yourself a follower of?
Yeah, I started off with G Malone, so I followed him. I followed Problem. I followed the people that K-Dot said on the stage with me. Like I followed Bad Luck. I followed Stro. You know what I mean? Daylight. Yeah, I watched their moves. And then I watched their mistakes as well. So I learned from their mistakes. And then, of course, the OGs, you know, the people that we looked up to, you know, Dog Pound, Snoop, West Side Connection, E40, things of that nature. But you watch how they grew, and you watch what they came from, and you watch their mistakes too. So you gotta really be a student of the game. With anything that you do though, it's not just music. You gotta study anything that you do, anything you jump into, you have to study it. You gotta study to fucking get your driving license from the DMV.
Yeah.
So you gotta just be a student of the game. So I always love learning. I hate when I don't know something, and I feel like I'm supposed to know it. So that's what keep me motivated to keep learning. So
Have you liked being in this, like, with PVJobs now, the role that you play with them? Have you been liking that? Like, being in that situation where you're creative director, right? That's your role, creative director with PVJobs, Reentry Network podcast. How have you been liking that so far?
I ain't gonna lie to you. I like it way better than doing music. It's fulfilling. When you feel like you can help somebody else do something, especially when you wasn't in a position to be helped the way that you thought you should be. So I feel like giving back, and especially because PVJobs sit right in the middle of my neighborhood where I grew up at, where I thugged at, where I probably did some negativity at, you know what I mean? So it's big for me. And then, you know, having one of my homies involved in the program, that's how I got there anyway, so.
How does it feel to have a company like PVJobs accept you? You know, like, they're looking at you, they're a company that could probably go a million different ways, maybe with the creative director position. The fact they chose you, how does that make you feel?
It made me feel good. It made me feel like they willing to take my advice and move forward with it, and that's what we've been doing, you know, with the executive director over there, Miss Mary. So, yeah, at the end of the day, you know, it's about the community anyway. It's about the streets. It's about the people that's been incarcerated in and out of jail. It's about people that's been in the system, foster homes, homeless, just the streets, you know what I mean? The inner city period. So why not have somebody that's from the inner city and from right there? That
It
only
makes sense.
Yeah, you feel me?
It does. You mentioned Mary. Shout out to Mary.
Yeah.
I think PVJobs at PVJobs LA, I believe, as well as the website. Is there something since you've started? How long have you been with PV? Like 5 months, maybe?
Not even like 4.
Okay, so
3 or
probably
4.
October, November, or something. Has there been something that's happened or something you've learned or experienced that surprised you that you weren't expecting going into it?
No, nothing is surprising. I just know that, like I tell them, it's not an overnight thing. It wasn't an overnight thing for me. And, you know, at the late 30 age that I'm in, I still learn things every day too. And I still, you know, backslide as well as a youth over there. So I tell them I'm with them at the end of the day. Like, I still need to learn things as well too. We still human at the end of the day. So changing doesn't happen overnight. I'm still changing right now as we speak. So nothing really surprised me. It's just more surprised that they are willing to listen.
Yeah.
You know, and especially when you deal with a lot of people that's not from your neighborhood. That's the biggest thing, because something easy could be like, I ain't listening to you. You ain't my big homie from my hood. Fuck what you got going on. But they actually really listen.
There's that respect factor there.
Yeah.
Very nice. I want to do like a little PVJobs reentry check-in just while we have you. What's going on with PV? I know you guys have a ton of updates, a lot of things going on at the compound, outside of the compound. You went to Arizona recently. You guys are at the Marathon Burger. Yeah. What is kind of your goal with creative directing reentry of PV in this upcoming 2025?
It's really getting them to just learn the things that we have in place for them. It's not really just about podcasting and music. It's actually learning the camera, the lights, sound engineering, drone operation.
All the actual logistics of it.
The business side of it. You know, how to read a contract and what are the words and the terms to look out for that you know to stay away from, or you like, okay, that is cool. So we're trying to teach them everything. So the goal is just to get them to have awareness and the knowledge. So when they do finally leave PVJobs, they can go in the real world and be successful.
That's the ultimate goal, I guess, of PV, right? To train people to then get a bigger, or like another career.
No, facts. And these are the people who society has deemed menaces. So I think that's going to be a great reward when we can get everybody cracking.
Have you always been like a community-based person, or is this something that like in the last like few years of your life?
No, we joke all the time. I feel like I'm like the Martin Luther, Malcolm X, Louis Farrakhan crap.
Nice.
Got a little all of them in me. Tookie, Huey Newton. I study like a lot of black leaders, bro. So yeah, I feel like I embody all of them.
Awesome.
It's my calling. It's not me. I believe in a higher power, so I don't feel like I chose this. I feel like, you know what I mean, it chose me.
I want to finish off with talking about the Kendrick Lamar, the Grammys, speech, everything. I think by now most people probably know the story. You recounted it really well on the Bootleg Kev pod. If you haven't seen the Bootleg Kev Eastside K-Boy podcast, go check that out. But something that I'm curious about is, you know, you get a shout out, that's great. But what do you do next from it? How do you capitalize on it? Have you been thinking about it? Do you not want to overthink it? Kind of, what's your mindset?
I feel like this is capitalizing right now. You know, being here with the Underground magazine, bringing my homies with me, Wise Motion, and this light on me. Since that, you got to take full advantage. You need to really maximize the opportunity. So I feel like I'm doing that. I've been working hard before he did that, but this just allowed me to have a little bit more leverage how I maneuver now. It's been working. So, you know, new project coming out, project with me and my homies coming out. I'm gonna be on a few big projects from big artists. So, yeah, I feel like I'm doing it. I talk to Dot every other day. So, a few little series roles. I just got a text from Mac 10 yesterday, said he wanted to put me in a movie that he working on, so.
Have you ever done the acting thing before?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, Nate Parker is a huge actor. I did like a 15-minute short film with him back in the day. Had a small role. It's called American. Yeah, it's on YouTube. I did something like that. I took acting class when I was younger, but I didn't take it serious.
Hey, it's never too late.
I was in the same acting class as Robert that played my cousin Skeeter in 101 with Kyla Pratt. So
okay.
He took it a little bit more serious because look what he became, you know what I mean?
Something you said that just stands out to me, it's funny, because you come off as a very humble person, you know, you're saying, oh, I've been working hard since before he shouted me out, you know. First off, from an outside perspective, I think that goes without saying, you know. I think Kendrick Lamar is not going to be shouting out somebody who's just kind of doing his thing, you know. But what I'm curious about is with that kind of a shout out or on that kind of stage, you've been working hard this whole time. Just because you get a shout out, it's not like, oh, cool, your life changes, whatever. You obviously got to do the work. But did it act as some sort of like a validation point for you?
Oh, it happened effectively, immediately. The phone started ringing. It rings consistently now. So I tell him all the time, I'm like, you got me really cracking. But it's up to me to move forward with that. And it really wasn't about the shout out like how you said. It's what he said during the shout out. It's being one of the people that inspired him to be the artist that he is. I think when people really listen to it, after they hear our names, that's cool, but you gotta hear what he said after that. That was a surreal moment for me and still unbelievable because you don't know. You can be friends with somebody and you don't know what type of effect you have on them until they actually tell you. You know, and men, we very prideful. Niggas don't like to tell each other like You know, I look up to you. You know what I mean? Well, we from the gang, bro. We tell each other that we love each other all the time. At least the ones that really, you know, matter to us, and we fuck with. You know what I mean? We do that. We not too prideful. We not scared to tell a nigga that we love him because the life we live or what we been through, they could be here today and gone tomorrow. So you gotta let a nigga know before you check out.
If you're willing to share with us, what did you say to Kendrick? I'm sure you thanked him, or what did you tell him? How did that conversation go the first time you guys talked after?
I just told that nigga I appreciate it. I didn't know that I inspired you. And shit, I love you, little bro, good looking out. He just said, I love you too. He said, nigga, you deserve it, so nigga, keep cracking. And we got some shit too, so don't even worry about it. This year gonna be crazy.
I love you, I love you. Is there anything coming up, whether it's later this spring, even heading into the summer, that you're willing to share with us?
I've been working with Game on documentary 3. So it might be a good surprise on there.
All right, I like that. I already had a little teaser of that, but I'm glad you shared that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. No date, nothing like that, nothing set.
Not yet. We don't know when it's dropping, but yeah, been working with him heavily. And like I said, it's really just about the next generation. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Eastside K-Boy. Shout out to Gavin for filming. Popsky, Estout in the house. K-Boy, who'd you bring here tonight?
It's the 4-pack. Got Baby moving. You got Jay moving. You got Let Loose Deuce. You got Baby Let Loose, aka K Uno. You got T Gotti, that's the president. You got Tiny Stro. You got Eastwood, sleepy ass. And you can't forget about Lady Let Loose. She's somewhere in the cut eating on something. Popcorn, ham hocks, pig feet, all that. It's the East Side, it's the 4-pack.
Let's get it. Underground Magazine, Eastside K-Boy, Andrew Mason. Let's go.